So, have you ever been here before?
No, I haven't, no.
Do you know this area at all?
Not at all, no.
Okay, what are your sort of first impressions of here?
It's a completely different world.
Really?
Yeah.
A completely different world to what? To the world that you know?
To England.
No, this is definitely England. We're in England right now.
Arguably.
He sounds like he hasn't come to terms with the fact that Britain is changing.
No, I definitely have come to terms with the fact that Britain's changing. That's why I was on the documentary. I'm saying that it shouldn't be changing.
He definitely doesn't reflect the Britain I see when I step outside my house.
The Britain that you see when you step outside of your house was the Britain created by the Labour government from 1997. It doesn't mean that it's a good thing just because that's the way it is. Use your brain, think, is this a Britain that is actually prosperous, thriving and cohesive? No, it's not. It just isn't.
Britain and British people aren't just white with a moustache and a monocle.
Who said that Britain was just white people with moustaches and monocles? You know, I associate in the most conservative circles you can think of, and I have never seen someone with a monocle. You're using a false argument. Don't do that.
So when you say that you look around and you see very few English people, how do you know that you might see someone like me, and you might not necessarily identify me as English, but I am English?
Oh, of course, by nationality, yeah.
I was born here.
Yes.
I'm as English as you are.
Yes, but think about it. You know, all people have a native homeland.
I think his views are stupid and ignorant and
I think you're stupid and ignorant.
A lot of people could share his views, and it's sad because it plants in the minds of young multiracial British people that they don't belong.
Listen, I'm not saying that mixed race people don't belong in Britain. I'm just pointing out a fact, right? The simple fact is Western European people happen to be white, just like African people happen to be black. It is historical, scientific fact. So when I say that, I'm not saying let's boot out all the black people. I'm not saying mixed race people don't belong in Britain. Engage brain, think, what am I saying? I am pointing out a historic scientific fact, right? If you think that's offensive, that's your problem. It's not my problem just because I recognise a fact and you don't.
I just think people are a lot more free to say what they feel now, whether it's correct or not.
To be honest, I don't think people are free to say what they feel these days. I know most people who agree with me are absolutely silenced. They can't say it because they're scared of getting kicked out of university like I did, or being removed from their job. You know, this is a fascist authoritarian state now. We are told what we can and can't say. New laws are going to be coming in soon, which are going to make the kind of things that I say essentially a hate speech that is an imprisonable offence. People aren't actually quite happy to talk about what they're saying. I only say this what I'm saying because maybe I'm a bit stupid, maybe maybe I'm a bit mad, but no, in this authoritarian state, it is crazy to say what I'm saying. Not because what I'm saying is wrong, but because I could well end up in prison for it.
I don't necessarily agree with his views, but I do respect them, like that is what he thinks.
I'm glad you respect my views, but I think you should also agree with them, because these aren't views, by the way. When I say Western Europeans are white, I'm pointing out historical fact. So you should agree with that. Unless, of course, you believe that evolution wasn't real and that the Earth is flat.
My native homeland is here. I was born here because native.
My
means
native homeland
natality. It means where you were born.
No,
right?
my native homeland, my historic homeland, is Western Europe. And I'm not saying you're any less British. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is you're not an indigenous British person.
Your granny's cousins, uncles, best mate came from, you know, Western Russia. Therefore, you're Eastern European by ethnicity.
Another bloody terrible strawman argument. Either you're stupid or you are purposely misunderstanding. No, just because your granny came from Western Europe doesn't mean that you are not a Western, you're not something else. So I've got Native American blood in me somewhere down the line. It was one of my great grandmothers. Now, does that mean I'm not Western European? No, because I'm mostly Western European. Look at my face. My skin happens to be white. You know, that is a symptom of being Western European. Doesn't mean I'm better than anyone else. Doesn't mean I'm more important than anyone else. It just so happens that I am white. So when you come up with this nonsense saying that your granny's was from Russia means you're Russian, no, you're completely misunderstanding the point.
Some people may believe and agree with him, but on the whole, I think people have a lot more sense than to believe that someone's not native to England based on their skin.
On the whole, I think people have a lot more sense than you, to be honest, because what I'm doing is accepting fact and you're just spouting crap.
Who gets to decide who's English anyway? Is it literally just where you were born, or is nationality something that is in your blood?
It's both. So you can be ethnically Western European, but you might be ethnically African and living in Western Europe and a citizen of Great Britain. So there's two elements. I tried to make this point in the documentary, but people don't seem to get it. There's two ways you can be British. You can be ethnically British, which means you're a Western European. You're one of the white people that have lived in Britain since the end of the last ice age. Scientific, historic fact. Or you can be a non-ethnic Brit living in Britain with the same rights and with a passport. Now that is a very, very simple thing to understand. At least I think it is. The only reason people seem to have a problem with it is because the schools drill it into them from such a young age that being British is just if you've got a passport. And that is a serious attack on identity. I remember Mona during the documentary said, oh, well, you're attacking my identity. No, I'm not. I'm accepting that she is culturally Western European. She's attacking my identity when she says that anyone can be ethnically British. Not only is that scientifically absurd, but it's an attack on my identity as a Western European. I think I deserve an identity as much as an Aborigine in Australia or a New Zealand Maori. Do I not?
Really, being British just means by nationality you're British. You live on this little lump of earth called Britain.
This little lump of earth happens to be one of the greatest countries on earth.
Use your brain.